Now, it's a rare day for any moron who shows up on TCAP, to be honest, but these guys were the worst liars. Let's give a warm welcome to Mike Manzi. Like any other loser we met on this show, this dude had a pretty elaborate plan for what he wanted to do with the Sting House.
You mind if I just, look around?
Oh, go for it.
You okay?
I don't know.
You see, Manzi was used to being around students, which meant he knew exactly how to get them to open up. But for someone with so much confidence, the excuse he came up with was pretty lame, actually.
Okay. Well, I came over just to make sure that
everything was fine.
Everything was okay.
Wow, how thoughtful, am I right? According to him, he drove all the way just to ensure everything was okay. Well, it was, until he showed up. But hey, humor him. Go along with his story for a minute. Might learn something. Either way, he was portraying himself as a concerned individual who was worried about the setup possibly falling into the wrong hands. And what kind of teacher are you again? A drama teacher? Because your acting's great. Seriously, here's a simpler solution. Call the police, or contact her parents, or even just leave a message asking her to stay safe. But no, Manzi had to do it himself. How chivalrous. He kept pushing his dumb story until Chris began reading the chat logs. Only then did he realize he had gotten himself into some serious trouble. So what was the next course of action? To get out. And well, he was willing to do anything to do just that.
May I please leave?
Not
I'm
just
not.
yet. Not just yet. I have some more questions for you.
Will I be able to leave after your question?
Did you blame?
Sorry, buddy. Not this time. By this time, Manzi had lost every ounce of his composure and was beginning to panic.
Everything was okay. It really wasn't that far. I wanted to make sure that there was no
He was desperately trying to come up with an escape plan, but all hell broke loose when the cameramen decided to show up. And Manzi's reaction was totally unexpected.
Please let me go home, guys.
Sir,
Guys,
it'd be best if you went out this door.
No, because I'm gonna get arrested. I know it's.
Of course this loser was in for a shock, but you know what makes this whole confrontation hilarious? He couldn't believe that he was face to face with the Chris Hansen. I mean, he had the audacity to tell him this.
I'm Chris Hansen.
No, you're not.
Yeah, fanboy alert here. Anyway, once the dust settled, Dude was in for yet another shocking revelation. He had no idea that his little tryst would hit the screen someday soon. And when Chris broke the news to him, Manzi started to throw a fit.
Guys, this is horrible. This is horrible.
Yeah, he couldn't help but whine like a baby. But I think he already knew that his life wasn't going to be the same anymore. Up next, we got this realtor who was looking for the wrong kind of real estate. Mohammed Abdallah came over to check something of great importance, and nope, it wasn't the property that he was interested in. Now, for some reason, I think this might have been his first rodeo. I mean, just look at the guy. He was already sweating bullets even before Chris made an entrance.
Hi.
Good.
Yeah, you can leave it open. It's fine.
Well, sorry, man. It's too late to regret your decision. However, the guy attempted to be clever by leaving the door ajar. Clearly, he was hedging his bets, ready to make a quick escape anytime, but you and I both know he wouldn't get very far. You see, the moment Chris stepped into the scene, Mohammed knew he had to come up with a good excuse, and he had to do it fast. But what he came up with, I don't even have the words to describe it.
Thinking she owns the house, I would try
Yeah.
to tell her what is it, and just she say, come in.
Come in. And so you...
Oh, so it's just that easy to get laid now, eh? Someone just calls you over while you're passing by, just walk in just like that, no questions asked. I wish someone told me that in high school. I don't know, you guys, I don't think this dude has the slightest idea of how dating actually works. And when Chris finally burst his bubble, he had another ridiculous excuse locked and loaded, again though, thought of fast.
Office at this time. I don't chat in the morning.
You don't chat in the morning.
No.
Obviously, this loser couldn't handle his own chats being read out loud, and he tried his best to put on a sorry face, and he ended up saying this.
You know, I'm an Egyptian, I'm Muslim, I don't do this stuff.
We'll lick you all.
Hey, stop playing preacher, man. I mean, how does religion even remotely fit into this situation? He probably thought he could get away scot-free by putting on his holier-than-thou facade, but who was he trying to fool here? God? Not easy to do. Guy got a rude awakening when the camera showed up, capturing his shocked face.
Allah doesn't want to talk to me anymore.
What followed next was one of the craziest takedowns I've ever seen on the show. I mean, just look at it. They pretty much buried his head in the sand there. But the dude deserved every last bit of it, unlike the next individual who chose to reveal it all. And at this point, John Kennelly needs no introduction. Dude was just built different. I mean, literally showed up in his most natural form, taking the concept of openness quite literally. Whether it was out of innocence or ignorance, I got no idea, but this dude left the entire team shocked beyond belief. Well, he was undoubtedly embarrassed, but that was only because he found Chris in the house instead of his dream date.
So you came here knowingly violating the law.
Before you think that encounter was the end of the story, wait till you see what happened the next day.
I have been in television for 24 years.
I just came to get something to eat.
Yeah, the dude had actually planned to meet another setup at a fast food joint, but thankfully this time around he was completely clothed. But you know what? Chris decided to dress him down.
Don't even know what to ask you first.
I just came to get something to eat.
Loser couldn't even lie with a straight face, and this time Chris decided to show him down with some legit proof.
I've got the chat log again.
Well, too bad. No matter what he had to say, once again, nobody was buying it.
No, I can't, John. I can't do that. That's their job, is to record video and audio.
This is back when the police weren't yet involved in the sting. Somehow, Kennelly managed to drive away, leaving behind one of the most shocking episodes ever aired on national TV. Pretty much scot-free. So whether it's Dark Hero or Kennelly, these guys clearly needed some professional help. I can only hope they got it. What if a doctor decided to join in on the fun? See, this doctor's office was closed for the day.
Frank, I'm actually gonna put on my suit. Maybe.
Either way, this jerk was ever so casually helping himself to a drink was a damn doctor. Now, for a doctor, I think Maurice Wolin was pretty clumsy. Just looking to make a mess of the place.
Self to a drink.
I can't. Oh, jeez.
So where are you coming from?
Sure hope the guy wasn't a surgeon. Anyway, it looked like the nervousness of this little date was getting to him. And just as he started to look around for a towel to wipe himself down, bam! Spotted the entire crew. What did he do next? Well, he literally ran for his life. No points for guessing that one, guys.
I gotta take off. Sir?
I need to talk to you for a minute.
Obviously, he didn't make it too far, and his reaction to getting caught, though, was downright hilarious. Dude, so what are you so mad about? Just look at that. He literally destroyed his own sunglasses. This is all his own fault. Again, though, nobody forced you to show up at the Sting house. They didn't do that to you, Dark Hero or anybody. You're the one that did that to yourself. After that little meltdown, he started whining like a little baby, too.
Oh man, I wasn't doing anything. Get his keys.
Jeez, this guy's giving me a headache. Let's move on to the next one. Maybe after I go grab an aspirin or something. Either way, this certain someone was pretty hungry, and I mean like really, really hungry, and also had absolutely no manners whatsoever. Allow me to introduce you to David Schumacher.
You tell me what's going on.
Your dad or something?
What are you doing here?
I'm David.
The moment he stepped into the house, he started munching on those cookies without a care in the world. Well, you go ahead and enjoy them while you can, sport, because it might be the last time you eat anything decent for a long while. When he felt cornered, he decided to play his trump card.
Like law enforcement. I happen to know law enforcement.
You do. So you're an expert in this area.
Yeah, dude claimed to know someone in law enforcement. Like that was supposed to make any difference. It's like the TCAP version of I know the manager, and it probably don't actually know the manager at this point. Funny enough, he only got dumber and dumber from there.
Is this some kind of hold up, man? You got a warrant, cause
Like an actual Karen. Yeah. Not only did he have some friends in high places, but he also seemed to be quite the expert at rattling off some major legal jargon. Yeah, the dude knew the law like the back of his hand, apparently. So we thought, maybe. Either way, I hope he knows how many laws he's breaking by sitting here across from Chris and the rest of the team. Because no matter how hard I try, I couldn't make sense of what he was attempting to say after a point.
I don't know what kind of rap y'all got on people, but maybe y'all can get the whole story.
You see, no matter how much drama he was gonna bring to the table, it wasn't gonna make a difference. What's more, he had his sister drive him all the way to the Sting house, and I mean, that's crazy. If you know the law as well as you think you do, you may have just made her an accomplice. Ugh, gonna be peeved when she finds out. However, now it's time to meet Corey Edgar, the moron who was scared to even enter the house. Either way, would his fears get the better of him and save him from landing in the hot seat? No, of course not. This is TCAP we're talking about here. The guys who show up at the Sting house check their common sense at the door.
Yeah. You walk around. Come in.
Sometimes in the internet chat room. So it looked like at least some remote part of his consciousness was trying to hold him back from crossing the threshold. But after all the confusion he put his poor brain through, he finally walked in, and what did he see?
You are a suspicious guy, Rick.
Oops. Corey's detective work seemed to bear fruit. Just as he was snooping around trying to get a good look at every nook and cranny, bam! Finally laid his eyes on what looked like a camera. Gotta give it to Chris though, the way he sweet-talked to him and kept him from bolting was crazy. And well, my man had no other choice but to walk right back in to face the worst confrontation of his entire life.
I did not
want this to happen. I didn't do anything.
Please have
Well, yeah, sure, he didn't really do anything, but your chat logs, well, they're more than enough to drag your whiny ass back to jail. Crazy how he started to whine about how it was Chris's problem, and like, let me put whine in all caps and bold for you. Really emphasize that there. I mean, honestly though, who does talk like this?
This is wrong. I clearly said, please leave me alone. Do not message me.
Anyway, he went on to pour himself a glass full of the drink on offer and took his sweet time finishing it. While the crew was in a hurry to send him packing, Corey was chilling out trying to make his last few minutes of freedom as memorable as possible. But the guy at least had enough sense to know what was in store for him, so he started to walk the door. And we all know what happened next.
Put your hands on your head.
Yeah, good riddance. And this dude right here came prepared for an exciting night, but things did not go according to his plan.
you enjoy me as much as I would you.
Sorry, man. Only thing you're about to get tonight is a night in prison and maybe more, hopefully. I mean, Randall Wolfward has no shame at all, despite having kind of a cool name. Just after 2 hours of chatting with the setup, my man came knocking at the Sting house. I mean, how desperate was this freak, am I right? But to pin him down even more, the setup posed a rather provocative question for him.
Yeah, once.
Really?
And boy, was he all for it. Just watch him casually pouring himself a drink and contemplating all the different possibilities of the night held. Like, dude, come on, man, just slow down. This isn't your house or something. It's crazy how comfy this dude was despite the obvious age gap between the people in the room. But, well, that equation was soon gonna change, cause Chris finally decided to cut the party short.
Make yourself at home.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. You?
Doing fine.
Wow, this guy was absolutely unbothered by Chris's presence in the house. He smoothly held his hand out for a quick handshake and took a seat like nothing ever happened. Oh, but that doesn't mean the pressure wasn't getting to him. When Chris asked him a basic question about his age, the dude decided to lie.
And how old are you?
I'm 49.
Yeah, so the guy was 52. Okay, not 40 or 9. Either way, let's keep track of how many lies this guy tells. That right there was lie number 1. Now here comes the next one.
I was fully intending on sitting right here until her mother got home.
No shit, Sherlock. Wait, I guess he mixes words up a bit there. Here's what he actually meant. Dude was gonna leave before her mom came in. Yeah, that was the initial plan. I mean, who was he trying to fool? Anywho, soon enough, kinda ran out of creativity, and at this point there was only one card left for him to play. Yeah, when all else fails, just go ahead, surrender to the Almighty.
God is my Savior, that is the truth.
You religious, man?
Clearly, in his case, it didn't work.
Please, get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground right now. Get on the ground.
Poor geezer put so much effort into those lies of his, and for what? To land in prison? Serves him right, though. But this next dude gave Randall a run for his money.
Closing the laundry room door.
So this grandpa right here is Thomas Campbell. Unlike other grandpas who will give you candy, this one will give you the creeps. When being cool and calm didn't quite work out in his favor, the only way out was this.
The reason I'm extremely nervous is I have no idea who you are.
Yeah, sorry man, I don't see you as a nervous wreck. I mean, just look at his demeanor. He acted like he owned the frickin' place, yet he was trying to convince Chris that he was shitting bricks. Maybe come up with something better next time, okay? Alright, there wasn't gonna be a next time. Anywho, this next dude came prepared to make an impression, and sadly, it blew up right in his friggin' face.
Lives in Long Beach, just about a mile from our undercover house.
I mean, you gotta give it to this guy, Satinder thinned. One thing he knew how to do, it was lie. Dude showed up in a fancy car, trotted into the backyard like he was at some party or something, but the minute he made an entrance, this is what he was up to.
So what do you want to do?
That's a very good question. What's in your drinks?
Now he's inside the house.
This is your house.
Ugh, look at that stupid smile on his face. But as soon as Chris showed up, Satinder's lips curved the other way around. But that's not the end of it. What he said next also put a frown on Chris's face.
Why did you come here tonight?
Just to see her?
Just to see who?
Like, what? You came just to see her? Alright, in which case, now that you've seen her, I guess it's time for you to leave. Oh, wait. Yeah, Chris decided to play around for a little more by bringing up the chat logs, and Satinder had to come up with something very fast.
You talk about more than just coming over to say hi.
That wasn't my intention. If you see in the conversation.
Yeah, although he spoke about some rather inappropriate actions online, Satinder claimed that it wasn't really his intention to do any of it. What's more, he tried to deny every single accusation thrown his way. But of course, Chris decided to put him in his place.
That's kind of what you're suggesting here. No, not at all.
I wouldn't know. No, never.
Honestly, I just love how calm Chris is with this loser. Honestly. Just wait till you hear what he said next, though.
I'm gonna lick you.
Oh, I say that a lot.
You say that a lot.
So Satinder tried an entirely different approach. He tried to explain how he behaved that way around pretty much everyone that he meets. Yeah, I don't see how that changes things, dude. But when he realized there was no way out, he said this.
Her mother's out of town. Would make sure everything's okay.
So you're gonna babysit? You're just gonna check the locks on the doors?
Oh yeah, he pulled the "I'll be the elder brother" card. Dude, that's just worse than saying "I'm here to mentor you." Either way, Chris isn't about to let you near the setup for any reason, so I guess you have a decent idea about where he ended up.
I still have someplace to go right now, so I just came to stop by for a minute.
Alright there, Carson, pull back the cape to see what he's earned. It is a stint in prison. Good job, proud of you. Now, there's this whole backstory of how he tried to frame the show and all that, but really that's a story for another day. For now though, we've got the next moron knocking on the door, and he goes by the name Jean-Pierre Michael. Or Jean. I don't know, I don't care. You see, JP couldn't even walk in a straight line, yet he thought he was some kind of alpha male. Now, the dude was in hot pursuit or something, but Chris decided to pull him over.
Why were you in such a hurry to get over on the other side of the fence?
Oh, nothing. I thought I was looking for somebody, and that's all. I'm sorry.
And who were you looking for?
John Pedersen.
John?
Wait, what did he just say? That he was looking for somebody? Okay, wasn't a great start to the convo, but what he said next was crazy.
I'm going to try to find a job somewhere, and I
didn't know any better. I'd say he came prepared with a script of some sort in order to face down Chris. Either that or he was going senile, because really, how could he forget the name of the person he was coming to meet? Or wait, here's another explanation. He didn't care.
I know the guy, besides the fact that his name is... I don't even remember his name.
In which case, let's allow Chris to refresh his memory.
You don't know everything I know.
The way Chris just casually tapped the papers on the counter with that smirk on his face, I guess JP got his answer. He knew what he was in for. Despite that, he's still trying to get out of the Sting house unscathed.
The computer in the library been using my name.
Yeah. So apparently someone else used his account to contact the setup from the public library, but hey, how is that he's the one who shows up at the house? You got some splaining to do, pal. Something just doesn't add up here, now does it? But just look at this grandpa's attitude.
Straight up, I've done time for that.
Someone who's about to end up in jail, he looks even more confident than Chris, somehow. Also, let's not forget that this wasn't our man's first rodeo. Dude was a pro, which is why he probably had a plan B in place.
Are reading me something that somebody wrote. I'm sorry to hear that.
I guess it's better for him to save his energy for what's about to happen next, because not even the camera zooming in on his face could shake him off course.
Down?
No, I have an address. I can leave an address. That's all I was planning to do.
Honestly, for a man who can't even walk in a straight line, he sure knows how to keep a straight face. But this next guy is what I'd call a walking bag of lies, and other things that I can't repeat on YouTube.
You can put that in the fridge. Yeah, I'll put it in a little bit. Alright.
Okay, does this weirdo even need an introduction? Yeah, I didn't think so. Anthony Palumbo was so deceiving that you'd never know if he was lying or telling the truth. Yeah, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. One user couldn't help but crack up when he tried to present his cover story for a real one to Chris.
And my brother is home, my other brother.
Right.
And I said, I gotta go to Atlantic City.
But instead you came here.
Really though, how long do you think it'll take until he breaks character? He's gonna break sooner or later, but this particular lie of his takes the cake for being the craziest of them all.
Yeah, because I was going to Atlantic City and it was dark and I'm not usually a drive at dark.
Okay, what? You can't drive in the dark? How the hell did you even get here then? When Chris started tying the noose around his neck, dude started getting agitated.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
I just wanted to just say hi. It
Just
was
to
not
say
that,
hi
yeah.
and drop off a package.
Sure you weren't drinking, buddy?
No, not at all. You can smell my breath. Not at all.
It's okay, I don't need to do that.
Yeah, the more he spoke, the bigger the hole he dug for himself. But that doesn't mean he strayed from his story.
Did I ask that? I don't remember that.
Are you top or bottom?
The entire time he kept denying anything and everything that was thrown his way. But that composure of his shattered into pieces once the camera started to come out.
Oh boy.
Hey, you can walk right out the door you came in.
Okay.
But you know what? I do kind of feel bad for his mom. He was all she had, and this is what this moron was doing behind her back. Anyway, as much as Anthony loved being on top, sadly he ain't number one on our list for today. But this next guy who sported the biggest smile on his face was devoted to his obsession. Jerry Wayne was ready to go to any lengths to have his way. He walked, hitched a ride on not one, but 2 buses, and then walked again. Hell of an odyssey, I'd say. Sadly, his destination wasn't exactly what we had in mind.
Hey, hi, and meet a friend.
Hi, and meet a friend.
Yeah, but I probably got the wrong address.
No, you got the right address, buddy. This is the house where your sorry ass is gonna be hauled off to prison. Probably kicked, too. But his reason for coming was pretty novel as far as TCAP weirdos are concerned.
No, because I wrote down 77.
77.
Yeah, 17.
According to him, he wrote down the wrong door number, but as luck would have it, he showed up in the right place. How about that, huh? When Chris asked him why he came, this was his answer.
I guess a mentor or something like that.
A mentor?
There's something we've heard before. Come on, dude. None of your chat showed any signs of mentoring, so how do you explain that?
Be a big brother or not?
Big brother.
Aspect, yes.
Oh yeah, here comes another big brother. Well, surely, bro, you're not the kind of brother anybody wants, least of all a vulnerable woman. But the story was about to take a turn. When Chris started reading out from the chats, this loser had about a sudden memory loss.
I never said anything in that nature.
Yeah, he just forgot what happened, but obviously this loser didn't have it easy.
Did you come here, Jerry, to see a room?
You see, he knew he messed up and there was no way he was gonna get out of it. But what gets me is that after all the shit that he'd said and done, he really had the nerve to ask this.
Could it be possible to ask if I could be anonymous or would I be just exposed?
Oh no, you don't get to choose what happens to you anymore, buddy. That's not even the whole story. There's more to follow, but dude looked dejected as all hell. Don't worry, Jerry. You're gonna be getting a free ride to the police headquarters soon. Maybe you'll get a plastic badge, too. Oh, but that also doesn't mean people didn't take digs at him. Some viewers were pretty brutal in their attacks, and one went on to say, I feel like this guy was God's first attempt at a human being. And another chipped in saying, the walk, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the teeth, the voice, the speech, the odd seating angle. This guy wasn't cast in all the Star Wars movies beyond me. Yeah, the guy definitely looked weird, no denying that. But are you ready to meet a whiny little BB?
Meanwhile, back at the house, men continue to show up.
This moron here walking up with all that energy is Edward Hollingsworth. And here's something you should know. His chats were absolutely reprehensible. And since Chris was busy busting someone else's ass in the meantime, the dude found himself standing in front of a closed door.
Then quickly locks the door.
So why'd you lock the door?
The disappointment was real, but hey, that's something compared to what was about to happen.
And
oh yeah, looked like the cops woke up that day in Joe's violence. His takedown was brutal, but hey, guy deserved it. Well, that's all well and good. What did he lie about exactly? Well, a hell of a story unfolded during the interrogation.
I cannot believe I did this.
What's going on?
My best friend's mom is dying of cancer.
Say what now? Okay, so if your best friend's mom is dying, why are you the one getting into trouble? Like, how is that justified? Couldn't you come up with something better? Oh yeah, my BFF's mom is dying, so I'm here at the Sting House trying to drown my sorrows. Oh, pour one out for her, bro. But hey, at the right place for you to mourn, buddy.
I'm stupid.
That's not to say that he didn't have some drama up his own sleeve, though.
It doesn't take an idiot to know that you guys are setting up things, but I wasn't thinking, and
what he said next could make even the most serene officer mad.
Again, fantasy takes over reality. I've never done really anything.
It's all just a fantasy, eh? Okay, let me get this straight. Whole thing about being used like a toilet was part of this big fantasy? Oh man, now I get why his username was Twink Toilet. Oh god, I can't even say that without cringing.
It's all talk. So once you get beyond that, I've never done it.
Either way, the guy made sure to hammer home how it was all in his head, nothing more, and by saying it over and over and over again.
Yes, quickly followed by my genius, are you a cop?
Yeah, I'm getting tired of him now. Get him out of here. Anyway, now you know that not all fantasies end well. Not for Edward, and not even for this next moron.
Hey, come on in. You made it.
Now, this dude did a decent job in the corporate world, but his chat seemed to suggest otherwise. In less than a week of interaction with the setup, Anurag Tiwari had enough confidence to come knocking at the Sting house. As soon as Chris walked in, his story took a turn.
Glad to have a seat, please.
Well, I had no intention of doing anything. I mean, I don't have anything here with me.
Yeah, the dude started to lie real quick. Ease with which he did it was terrifying. Only a seasoned veteran of this sort of shit could switch gears so quickly. And when Chris asked him if he had skins on him, he first kept denying it until he said this.
No. In the car, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that was his protection. He carried it with him everywhere because, who knows, right? Anyone, anywhere, anytime, but when Chris dished out the chat logs, Anurag came up with this explanation.
That was not me.
That was not you.
That was my friend.
Oh, really now? Yeah, he simply pulled his buddy into the mix. Speaking of, where is this other guy, right? The lies don't end there, though.
There was a party going on, and someone logged into my computer.
There was a party going on.
Yeah, this dude was trying to convince Chris that he had no role to play in any of this. Anyway, now time for the $1,000,000 question. If it wasn't him who was talking online, how is it that Anurag was the one who showed up and not his friend? Either way, I totally agree with what this next user has to say. If you're bad at lying, then why lie? Yep, I agree.
The answer is Anurag. That's your name.
Yeah, he used my name, I don't know why.
He did.
Eventually, reality did dawn on him, and dude started to sweat bullets. Also, Chris took this opportunity to call out his bullshit.
Over a several-day period, and people had control of your computer, or you're telling me a big fat lie.
Yeah, to absolutely nobody's surprise, it was a big ol' lie. Shocker. That didn't stop him from trying to plead his case for the last time.
Well, first of all, I want to know who you are.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Cut it out, dude. You're done. He did try to cover his face and make a run for it, but look who's here. So why don't you hitch a ride to the police station now, huh? And hey, it's free. And then there's this next dude that looked like he was lost. Lost in thought, probably, but Chris was here to bring him right back down to earth. Dude looked like a zombie, absolutely lifeless, like no expressions whatsoever. Just look at him.
How are you tonight? Why don't you have a seat right there, please?
For a second, it looked like Daniel was just teleported there and he had no idea how it happened. But ultimately, he had his own share of lies to dish out.
What are you up to tonight?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing or nothing good?
But it's that cough that gets me.
I think so, 13 then.
13. And how old are you?
I know you're faking it, but can you just cover your mouth, maybe? Someone even pointed out how he was coughing like a toddler with his tongue sticking out. Ugh. Either way, Chris was unfazed.
You know what?
What?
It's gonna seem crazy.
Try me.
However, that didn't stop him from dishing out more lies.
But I was gonna tell her that there's a lot of people do that stuff like that. I wasn't gonna do anything to her.
Okay, now how many times have we heard that today? See, dude thought he could simply justify his shit by saying something as lame as this.
Because it happened to one of my cousins.
And the line didn't stop there. He decided to take it one step further by saying this.
Yes. And
how old is that cousin of yours?
She said,
dude, the amount of things this loser was making up on the spot just to get out of this situation was completely insane. But we all know it's for entertainment purposes only. Definitely not gonna help his cause.
In what year did this happen?
Like 7 years ago.
So how far do you think he'll take this story, eh? Turns out he just drove all the way out to the Sting house just to tell the setup that the internet is a dangerous place. Talk about meetings that could have been an email.
I mean, there's no other people like me, but there's other people that is kind of dangerous.
Now, this loser had even sent pictures of him playing with himself, and when Chris asked him about those, you wouldn't believe his response.
Yes.
And you did this just to teach her a lesson?
Well, basically, yeah.
Basically.
What now? So he sent disgusting pictures to teach a lesson? What kind of lesson are we talking here? Please enlighten me, oh wise one. I need it for the test. Oh. Guess what though? When it comes to lying, this next guy puts even Daniel to shame. Who's ready to meet the loser who takes the title of being the best liar on our list? Pinocchio himself.
Are you sure?
Yeah, can we just go upstairs for a little bit?
Oh, let's just hang out here for a little bit. Why don't you sit down?
Ernest Timmons will forever be at the top of my list. Classic example of a real liar pants on fire. Had the burning urge to get his hands dirty, and guess what? He didn't waste any time getting right down to business. But when Chris called him out, he decided to throw someone else under the bus.
Sir, my friend told me to come here to bring the camera and...
Your friend told you to come here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so his friend asked him to come over with a camera. Let's not forget that detail. Write it down in your book, kiddies. Wait for it. More lies on the way.
Sir, I perfectly... Why do you think I'm just as stunned as you are?
Oh, you're stunned because you got caught.
You see, he really thought he could make a fool out of Chris, but Ernest, my man, you got no idea about the kind of fire you're playing with.
Because I think you're telling a big fat lie to me right now.
I'm not telling you lies, sir.
It doesn't make sense.
There's no way Chris was gonna buy his story. I mean, he couldn't even remember the guy's name who sent him here. How does that even make sense? And when obviously he tried to throw some random fictitious guy under the bus. But storytime with Ernest Timmons wasn't about to stop anytime soon.
I don't know.
You don't know.
Soon as the cameras came out, Ernest broke down. I mean that literally. But it was a little too late at that point. And yeah, not long after he was taken to where he really belonged. But quick update, he didn't stay there for long. Not much joking here, the man gave up on his life not long after. So, on that happy note, who's the biggest liar of them all? Maybe somebody was so good at lying I thought they were telling the truth. Keep me honest by dropping those names in the comments below. But before that, make sure to smack that like, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications, and don't forget to check out my latest video right here. It's even crazier. See you all next time.